one thing my dad didn't do was force me. When I played football, it was my decision. You know, it was fully mine. I said, I want to show this guy that I can do this thing. I didn't realize until I was done, you know, because then it really hit me that what I wanted to do, I can't do. I failed at something. You know, I had a dream. I put 18 years of my life. I sacrificed school, basically, you know, focusing on school fully, and it didn't work. In that, there was so much that I had to go through one man when he's not there. You know, he wasn't there the whole time. But now I'm navigating, playing against, you know, the best in the country. Like a lot of my teammates now play in the PSL. Are wired mentally and stuff like that will kind of dictate how they respond to adverse situations, to traumas, to things like that. And I think when you made of the right stuff, that's why I said I don't think the same thing's for everybody. You know, and it's not even an arrogant thing. It's just it's really insane. It's intense. There's a lot more than you think there is. There's a lot of interpersonal relationships on many levels. You know, you had to go through that on your own, you know, relating to family, relating to the people at school, relating to the people you needed to please, and all of these things. And you balance all of that. Now you have an audience. You know, now you balance an audience of however many 100,000 people watch every week and things like that, you know. So it really isn't for everybody. And your response to the things that happen, I'd say they happen for you, not to you. Say nothing happens to you. It happens for you. So if you're tough enough and you made of the right stuff, you'll always be able to flip everything that happens to you into things that happen for you.
You definitely learn that in sport. I can feel it.
100%.
Because sport teaches resilience no matter what. Yeah.
It's a nice physical representation of life. Life.
Yeah.
I feel so blessed to have learned football, to have learned life through football.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it was Vele to say, hey, timer, I can also do this thing too, you know, because we never necessarily grew up together. But like in that, there was so much that I had to go through one man when he's not there. You know, he wasn't there the whole time. But now I'm navigating, playing against, you know, the best in the country. Like a lot of my teammates now play in the PSL, you know. So it was like really a whole thing, and it worked for a very long time until it just wasn't. And then I was like, yo, then the depression came through, and it's like time to reinvent yourself. So football being my medium for at least 18 years, what a blessing. Like, what a blessing. Even the friends I have now through football, the coaches and mentors that I've developed through this thing, the mentality, how I treat content creation literally was shaped by football, by my mentality on the field, you know.
Lucas Radebe is an international superstar of many years, a legend by far. None of us can dispute that. But here is this man who has a demanding career, is a legend celebrated all over the world for his excellence as a footballer, but he's absent to his child because of that excellence that's driving him there and that purpose.
Yeah.
Were you ever angry that, Dad, why can't you just be with
a lot, you know? But I mean, it's not like he was absent. He was, it wasn't like I woke up every day with my dad and I greeted him and he greeted me and whatever, you know, but like he did try where he did. He was there where he could be, but like it was really hectic for a black boy to be going through that stuff. One man, I was like, I'm the first grandson on my mom's side of the family. I'm my dad's first grandson on my dad's side of the family. So there was like a lot of pressure and stuff like that. And he was very far away. And that's another thing, you know. So I was always like, all right, cool. He's there. I'll just do my thing, you know. And my mom is actually the rock. Like my mom is a superhero. Like my mom literally molded me into so much. And you know, I realized the value of a woman when I got older, and she started telling me, you know, certain things that she had to do to make it look like he did them. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, just so that it's not like a sour relationship, so that it's not really hectic. She would always like be saying certain things, or no, don't worry, this is gonna happen tomorrow or whatever, and I'd always get over it. So I got into that mindset of getting over stuff very quickly. And then I started looking forward to seeing him, you know. So then it was like, I need this guy's attention when he came. And when he came, I did a lot, you know. I
It's like, let's
overdid
catch up,
stuff.
catch up.
Yeah, I'm trying to squeeze everything I've missed into the weekend, you know. But things happen, life happens. Now it feels like the last 4-5 years have been catch up, you know, in that sense. And the relationship is now developing on a way more mature and higher
Absolutely.
basis, you know. It's beautiful. It's actually really beautiful, you know. And again, it didn't happen to me. It happened for me. You know, I definitely think I wouldn't be who I am if things were different. I don't think I would have had as much resilience if things were just perfect or the way I thought they were supposed to be. We definitely need resistance, man. Pressure makes diamonds. Diamonds don't just pop up.
When he was away for months on end at work, and a football match of his was being broadcast on television, what feeling did it bring you to watch him on TV when he's been gone for so long?
Yeah, it was insane. It was hectic. Those are my core memories, you know, like that's the basis of me wanting to feel like someone and wanting to be really good at something is World Cup 2002. Being pulled out of school to go watch the game at home.
You in grade 2?
I'm in grade 2.
Yes.
Damn, chill.
We're the same age.
Okay.
So that's how I can.
And 2002, South Africa's doing really well. Like they were fighting, you know, they weren't winning everything, and there was a slim chance. And he scored a goal. The whole house erupted in such a way, and they kind of gravitated towards me. And I was like, "Whoa, is that what happens when that's your guy that achieves that much attention?" You know, and it was a beautiful moment. And that started this tank, this big tank of it said, you know what, you need to be, whatever you do, dog, you need to be this huge. People need to while out this much at home for you. People need to feel this proud to know you and be related to you and be connected to you. So and I didn't see much. I won't lie, I didn't see much. I wasn't too interested in football at a very young age. But that 2002 World Cup match when he scored against Spain is one of the clearest, most vivid memories of a soccer game I've ever had. I've never watched him live when he was professional.
And you were only 8.
Yeah.
And you still remember that?
Yeah. Perfectly.
Perfectly,
you know, every time that World Cup was when we were still at school. And I remember we had to watch one of the games in the auditorium. I think it was like Slovakia or something. It was the game that we could have won to qualify. And we all in the auditorium, and every time they say my dad's name, people look at me, and it was like, whoa. You know, that stuff is literally the bottom of what I'm made of, you know. And that's why I say it's not, I think it would have been different if I woke up next to this guy every day. It's very easy to take things for granted when you see them, you know. They say contentment doesn't breed gratitude. No, familiarity doesn't breed gratitude, just contempt. You know, people become very content with you when they see you all the time, but you need to have a little bit of me. I needed that separation from you. I didn't need to. I didn't want that.
I actually fully resonate with you, because what you're saying to me, what you're demonstrating, is that your father demonstrated excellence.
Yeah.
He wasn't this parent who's visible in front of you every day, but he demonstrated excellence.
Yeah.
And that foundation of excellence demonstrated at World Cup level is what made offenses say, I want to bore a Primo who will be excellent, who will be known nationwide, internationally too, as an excellent human being in whatever I'm doing. So fathers should strive to demonstrate excellence rather than say
much more.
Funda.
Much more, you know. And one thing my dad didn't do was force me. When I played football, it was my decision. You know, it was fully mine. I said, I want to show this guy that I can do this thing. You know, I had very, very weird complexes in my mind thinking, yeah, dude, maybe I'm adopted. Maybe I'm adopted. I don't chill with this guy. Everybody else lives in England. I'm not.
And you look like I don't so much.
You know, and when I was younger, I didn't think I did. You know, so it was like, nah, maybe I'm not this guy's son, you know. So it definitely also came out of, I need to prove to this guy that I'm his son and I have his abilities within me.
My.
You know, so I started this whole huge soccer journey, and then I found myself and I lost myself, and then now I found myself here. So it's like, it's unexplainable what happened with this thing. And I'm like I say, I'm very grateful that it happened for me the way it happened for me. I didn't want to be spoiled. I was never a spoiled kid. I grew up in Hammanskraal. I grew up with my mom in Alberton. I moved to Pretoria with my aunt. I came back to Alberton. I finished. Then I lived with my dad for 1 year. But my dad never forced me throughout to do anything. He was like, "Hey, dog, I used to be a dancer," and he was like, "Come watch Ivy," and I had a soccer game, and I'm like, "No, come watch my soccer game." He's like, "Oh, when the last week no competition, we love say, and I'm like, dude, just why don't you support with that thing that you do too?" And now it's like, nah, I didn't want to guide you. I didn't want to tell you to do that thing. It would have been very different. The pressure, all of this stuff, but now I went through that journey myself, discovered it, lost it, came back, and became what everybody knows is who I am.
Sure.
And I don't think I would have been that if any of that didn't happen.
You spoke about a period of depression.
Oh, yeah.
When was it, and what made you realize I'm depressed?
I will lie. At the time, I didn't know.
Okay.
And I feel like, especially when it started, I feel like a lot of South African young up-and-coming soccer players go through this and don't even know that it's depression and anxiety. Like you obviously you backed by your situation at home. I had a little bit differently. I didn't have home as my motivation to make it. I had, a lot of psychological reasons. But you don't realize it when you're covering up your hard work with all this determination and hard work, and every day that you sometimes get depressed. Like I got injured, and that's the first time I got a real taste of depression, where I can't express my talent physically. I can't show you guys that I'm worth it. And the pressure that came in the environment, because we're playing really high level, there's another guy, so the longer you're out for, the longer this guy has to show off his talents,
prove themselves.
So it's like I got depressed, and now I'm anxious because I want to go back, and I'm injured, but now I'm trying to rush my injury back, and then this injury leads to another injury, and that injury leads to another injury. Now I'm not in consistently. Now I'm thinking too much. Now I'm getting older, and it's all piling on top of each other. I'm not feeling like my dad's supporting me the way he's supposed to. All of these things are just like, and I'm like, no ways, dude. Like I can't get out of this. And it resorted to me finding my value in so many other things. And how people perceive me, and in how women perceive me, and how so much was happening. But that thing, it felt like a void. It felt like this huge thing that I can't get over, this huge mountain that you just can't climb. And every time you go to training, you see the mountain, but you want to turn your head away from it. And I didn't realize until I was done, because then it really hit me that what I wanted to do, I can't do. I failed at something. I had a dream. I put 18 years of my life. I sacrificed school, basically, focusing on school fully, and it didn't work. I sacrificed money. I sacrificed so much time, and I have nothing to prove from it. So I went through like a 2-year dip where it was like, what are we going to do now?
Do you still feel like a failure, or do you still feel like I failed at that?
No, I feel like life is a very beautiful thing. The School of Hard Knocks is a very gorgeous thing. If you look at it, a lot of the times, people who succeed at a very high level, it's not the first thing that gave them the success. It's like the first thing was the step to teach them what must happen.
That
they really resonated with.
Sure.
So I don't think I failed. It's like that just wasn't where you were supposed to. You were supposed to, that was your institution. That was a university. And now life has to happen. Now you have to apply whatever you learned from there. So, I mean, the fact that, like I said, a lot of people I played with play in the PSL now, Dlamini, Jojo from Pirates, Libito, there's guys, Keenan Phillips in Amazulu. There's so many guys, Soli, Nsundwana, all these brews that are spread across. That's my pride. Is like I played with these guys, so I know I'm at that. I was at that level. So I didn't fail, and I'm a faithful man. So it's like I definitely know that wasn't my plan. Like if it didn't happen, it wasn't for me, and I have to accept that and keep it moving.
So you can disagree with me. My relationship with failure currently is I used to use words to say I was pivoting. It was a change in direction. And I'm like, I failed. My relationship with failure is I failed and it's okay.
Yes, yes.
Like
yes.
I failed, it was the end.
Sure.
And let's bury it and let's move on. But are there lessons there? Absolutely.
100%.
Were there principles that were cultivated? Absolutely. Was there a moral compass that was cultivated? Absolutely. Were there things that I did wrong that made me feel yes
100%.
too?
Yeah.
And that is fine. Because and that relationship, I have it from a place of privilege because I'm doing so well now in my businesses, in my career, with this platform. So I'm able to look back from a success perspective and say, I failed. But I understand it's sometimes harder to say I failed when you are still in the failure.
Sure. I still don't think it's failure. I really don't think it's failure. It's like the concept of saying energy doesn't die.
Mm-hmm.
It just transforms and multiplies and becomes whatever it needs to be. It's you taking that and transforming it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how grapes can be raisins if they're dried, grapes if they're not, and wine if it's fermented. And all three levels, it's a grape. You know, a grape doesn't say it failed because you know what I mean? Just because it doesn't mean it failed. It's just fine now. So it's like it's a good way to, especially I think it's because it's your masculine. Your masculine is saying, "Hey, dog, you were supposed to succeed, bro. What's that thing? You failed in the eyes of yourself and your family. What happened?" But it's the nature of life. I think metamorphosis happens in that way. Things crack for other things to bind, in proper foundations. So I definitely am a strong believer in that. All my tattoos kind of symbolize that, like this one, inshallah, means what? God's will. So it's in his will that it will happen. And if it's not, then it won't. And that's what you must take it for, his will, not your. Then when you say failure, it brings a lot of control of self into this thing. Like you control everything around you. You know what I mean? Like it's ego. It's a lot of the ego saying, bro, you were supposed to be the hardest there. What happened? When look at you now, you would have probably been, now you are probably on a trajectory that's way higher than what you thought you were supposed to be successful at. So I thought to myself, I'm not going to be able to hear the Champions League theme every week if I carry on playing. I'm 25 years old. I'm playing at Bidvest. We won the league last season. They like us. We're very talented young group of young boys. They promising us a lot, but nothing's really coming from it. I've been injured a lot. I'm not consistently playing. I have an ankle that gives out every week. So I play, and then for 2 days I'm healing. Where am I going, dog? Like, is this grand? Am I going to stay here? Am I going to force things? Do you want to force the unforceable? Because your dream was to play at Real Madrid, not to play at Kaizer Chiefs.
I hear you.
My dream was to do as much as my bro did. Like, if that guy heard the Champions League theme, I had to hear it too.
Absolutely.
And then I said, I'm not going to get there. Let me be real. I'm giving myself a proper 5 years with a very injured body to get there, when it takes people a proper 19 crazy years, to do this thing. Let me leave. Let me spare myself. That's why I'm saying that 2 years, it felt like failure. But after that, I started coaching. I got a coaching course that my dad encouraged me to do, and I did it with a whole lot of legends, him too. And we did our D license at SAFA, and then I was like, all right, cool. That's the first transformation from being a football player to being a coach. Now facilitating the game for other people and other people's minds and other people's talents. And that went really well. I got the kids to like a cup final. They went from like second last in the season to sixth in my first season. Like, it was really dope. And I was like, okay, cool. So there's definitely more light outside of that one tunnel that you were in. And then that's the beginning of me coming out of it. And I got better at coaching, and I did better and better until I was at the point where I did TikTok because I was bored and I couldn't coach because it's COVID. You're not allowed on the field. You're not allowed human interaction. So now this led me to that. And then I have to quit coaching because these kids don't even call me Coach Primo anymore. It's Primo9teen, and that metamorphosis happened so seamlessly,
right?
That I can't be here beating myself up for leaving, because then this wouldn't have happened, I stayed there 18 years, 19 years, and I got where I got. I'm been here 4 years, and I've gotten way further. So it is what it is, dog.
God's will.
Exactly.
Because now you're in God's will, it feels like things are happening at an exponential
At
speed.
light speed. At
right?
God's speed.
Right?
Yeah. At God's speed. That's literally what I believe. Once you tap into that purpose, passion, feeling, and ability and timing, you're gone. You're gone. You won't be stopped. You're gone. Time is not even a thing anymore. You know, time is a construct now because it's what you're doing. Time is measured by how much you do now, not by how long you live. You know, so then it's about how much you can keep doing and proving and improving. So yeah, dog, it's not failure, man. Don't beat yourself up, dog. We're glad, dog. You turned out fine. You really did. It's clean. It's very clean.
When does the penny drop that I don't have to crump anymore, I can be a content creator now full time?
The crazy thing is I still had to dance a little bit for like an audition that I had, and they wanted a dance tape, and I had to give them a little bit of something. But I think when I really like I started getting into TikTok, and then when I get into something, I'm enveloped. If I like it, I dedicate everything. That's why I dedicated so much of my time to football. I dedicate everything. So because also COVID made it conducive and gave me a lot of time, I could sit for 4 hours just watching TikToks, you know, from 3 a.m. because I just woke up until 7 in the morning. I'm just watching. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is how it works. This is how these people do it. And I just broke it down. And then I tried it with American stuff, and it was really dope. And I was making videos I liked. And then the more things happened, the more I was manipulating what I'm doing. And I was like, I have power in this thing, you know? And then I decided, you know what, let me post every day. Number one, every weekday. Number two, everything I post must be South African. The sound or the joke. But I'm also getting into doing South African sounds. Then I manipulated South African sounds because they weren't popular at all. People would rather use trending American sounds. People weren't using normal, you know, everyday people from South Africa. And then I started just doing that if something was funny and I used the sound of it. The moment it caught on and people at home would respond to me, that's when the penny dropped. You know, because there was a time where I was trending in America where for a week I was posting in this trend. We were in this trend and I was remixing that trend for that whole week, and I'd get 1 million views, another 1.3. That whole week, every video I posted with that trend was trending in America. And I was like, I can't feel it. It's dope. The numbers are nice, but I can't feel it. Until I switched it up and I felt it happen here, I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, you're onto something. And then I just didn't stop. For that next 2 years, I just said every day. And then...
What makes you think you can monetize this thing, though? Doesn't it still feel like I'm just pushing a passion here? Or it's because you've studied the Americans that they've monetized that you're like, oh, as usual, the wave is still coming this side.
So there's two parts to this, I think. One is that, but monetizing TikTok was very hard in the beginning because it seemed very disingenuous in comparison to your content. So there was a huge difference and people wouldn't interact with it as much. Number two, I studied brand and marketing management. So I always knew that marketing had to come into play. I always knew that whatever I had to do had to be marketable and had to be profitable. So the moment my viewership started increasing, I knew that it had to be marketable. I have to be marketable, number one. Number two, my page and my content must be marketable. It must be curated in a way that someone can see their business and brand says, I want this guy to communicate that. And someone trusted me, you know. There's a couple of people right in the beginning. A friend of mine, Tino, had this campaign and they were, betting on social media content creators, and she had 5,000 Rand as a budget. I said, give it to me. I'll do something. And then I did something and I kept doing things and it was really dope and they liked it. And then Ghosted came out from NTV Base.
I remember.
And Ayanda Mantomazana Gaise.
MVP.
No.